episode of About the Night, episode 30. We in the motherfucking building with Mr. Fly Guy himself. Mr. Ryan Banks, man. Thank you so very much for being on the show today. Really appreciate you taking your time out of your day and spending it with us here today. Obviously, you're rocking with the crew today. Warren, Rob, Winton. Unfortunately, my boy Tony is out today due to illness. But let's take a moment before we dive into this crazy schedule. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys so very much for all your follows and all your likes and all your comments. We do really appreciate it. We try our best to tune in and respond to any answers you give us. Crazy show for today. We got a crazy show. We're going to be talking about nightlife industries. Unpacking what's been happening on this streets of Sacramento. But obviously we got some major news right now. I'm not sure if you're in the NBA. We've been having a lot of free agencies. Trades. Yeah, he just signed today. I think they matched the Pacers deal. It was $133 million.
They saved $50 million by waiting him out and matching that offer sheet.
How was that? Talk to me there.
Because a team could, when they own the bird rights and whatnot, they could literally sign you to that Big Max contract. But they let me go out there and, search around and, they couldn't sign him to what the home team could. So it saved them $50 million just to match that.
Wow.
I know Aiden got to be sick.
That's
$50 million.
That's chestnut checkers, man. When you move in that, and they probably felt comfortable enough for him testing the market anyway. Yeah. That's why they made that move. Yeah, but he's been, and I think they was in a win-win anyway. Because I think they were already trying to use him. Trade bait, space. So they could go either direction. I think because there's definitely the rumors around with Mr. Durant.
That's what I'm saying. Technically, they could have screwed themselves if he knows he missed out on $50 million. Potentially, he still has the option to opt in or opt out of a trade if they do consider trading him for KD.
Yeah. But with the way the collective bargaining agreement is set up, since they matched that offer sheet, they can't trade him until like February, until right at the deadline.
Okay.
So he got to sit on ice for a little bit. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see it's gonna be spicy though.
It might even come out to that. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of, with KD, I think the Nets should just sit on him.
Yeah,
if I was the Nets, I would just sit on him.
I'm sitting on him and Kyrie. Y'all better figure this shit out.
I think the only way that
I think that's what's gonna happen.
I think because Nets are not gonna make a deal. We was just talking about it. The Nets ain't gonna make a deal with KD or with Kyrie, I should say, unless they got a deal with KD.
Yeah,
because that's the reason there's a deal in place with the Lakers to make that happen. The problem is that they make that trade, they lose all leverage with KD. They lose all of it. So now, because all the other teams that's thinking about taking him, they're gonna be able to. All right, you know what? I'm gonna take that other first off the table now.
Right.
So it's like that's how they moving. But if I was the Nets ownership, I'd sit.
I feel like they're both going to stay. Obviously, with him already opting into his contract, he's saying that he's willing to stay. But obviously, he's willing to take a trade if it's the right trade.
Yeah.
Kyrie ain't going to just be like, all right, go ahead and send me over to Sacramento. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't going to, like, no, I'm going to stay here and, I'm going to do my thing here. But at the same time, if they find a way to get Kyrie out of there, I know, right? I'm trying to figure out what that is too.
Yeah, you guys hear that too? Yeah, it's just me. Okay, I'll try and get it.
I'll figure it out in a minute. But if they give Kyrie what he wants and he gets to pick and choose whatever team he wants to be on, at that point they lose all leverage for KD because at that point KD's like, I was gonna stay if Kyrie was gonna stay, but he's gone. Why am I staying?
Yeah.
Same domino effect is happening in Jazz, Utah.
Ooh. Oh yeah, with D Mitch.
With D Mitch.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
And I mean, obviously, D Mitch is part of the trading bargaining. Like, he's trying to get out mainly because they got rid of Gobert, and obviously they're on a rebounding stage. But I feel like they're asking for so much for him.
Bro, did you see what they gave up for Gobert? Bro, that's wild.
That's what set the market because that's what the Nets are thinking. That's what they want,
right?
And that's at least the bare minimum what they want for KD. They want that. At least that's what they want.
I mean, if you're Sean Marks and you sitting there, and you look and you see that come across the ticker what they gave up for Gobert, and you're sitting on KD and Kyrie and Ben Simmons,
right?
Boy, you better open up everything.
You talk about inflation? They bullshitting. That's some bullshit. You basically took a house that was on the market for $300,000 and said, "Yep, I'm gonna pay $600 for it."
That 9.1%.
Like you tripping like that. I did not understand that. But I want to touch on. I don't think a lot of people are talking about. They keep talking about the trade. They keep talking about where KD might go, where Kyrie might go. I don't think what's been circulating is why. Why does KD want to leave? Like usually these things come out. There's an issue with GM or there's some agreement or something come through. Like I haven't heard anything from either camp really.
I haven't heard anything from KD's camp, and I mean we know a couple people over there and they're being all hush hush. So you know what I mean, but the Kyrie thing, they supposedly him and Steve Nash got into it in the middle of the season. I mean you could definitely see that because at the end of the day, Steve Nash still a competitor.
Right.
Truly.
This is his first coaching job. He don't got that Phil Jackson. Let me light some sage around here and get all these personalities together.
He's a player first.
He's
though.
definitely a player.
He's thinking of the players aspect.
But you think that would be enough for him to say I need to be out of Brooklyn? Because I'll be honest, I'm always team players.
Yeah.
Especially with the Players Association, I usually lean towards that side anyway. And a lot of the organizations, they kind of, they me first. That's how they operate, and that's how they're in the position that they are. If they didn't make the decisions like that, they wouldn't be, billion-dollar corporations. But
True.
I feel like the Nets in this case, I'm kind of siding with them. Like they did everything he wanted. Yeah. Like you literally you got Kyrie, you brought Kyrie over there,
right.
Or you matched that up. You asked for Harden, you got Harden,
right?
Then you traded him.
But but look at the domino effect of that. You get James Harden. James Harden showed up out of shape. Yeah. They literally it was reports coming out of that camp every day. It was like Kyrie busting James Harden ass one-on-one every day after practice.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how like that is just a domino effect. So we'll see what happens though. I definitely feel like it's gonna be spicy.
Yeah,
I
true.
love the NBA off season because you never know until October hits and the season starts what's gonna happen.
Right, right.
I will say it has been interesting ever since the South Beach announcement. Because before, you know what I mean.
You throwing subtle shots right now.
I'm just saying
subtle shots.
I'm saying.
I was about to say it wasn't nothing subtle about that.
It's all been interesting.
Oh man.
Ever since that, because
but what you saying that there's pros and cons to that. I think that a lot of people looked at it as very pompous of him. Very arrogant of him, right?
Okay.
But at the flip side, I think he empowered all these players.
Yes,
it started with him.
Part.
They have taken control. This is the one sport where the players is running it.
Football players wish
they wish they had half the leverage that these NBA players have. Yeah, so a lot of people is complaining about LeBron, but I bet you ask any of these players, they ain't complaining.
Well,
to them he's the GOAT when it comes to this whole thing because they getting paid.
Right.
This past off season, I feel like football took a lot of matters in their hands.
They did.
Yeah, it was
LA.
We've never seen an off season like this in football. Like a lot of players was just moving and pretty much paving their own way to wherever they wanted to go. I mean, look at Devontae Adams. I mean,
I think it really started with Odell, to be honest with you. The whole Odell to Cleveland to L.A., Cleveland, wherever he is at now, who knows? I'm just saying, like, you're right, but that South Beach announcement gave players more control than the actual GMs did about moving their pieces. People are moving now. They're making a whole team around one person.
Definitely.
This one person is controlling who's coming in and who's coming out. I mean, in the Summer League.
The popularity, though.
Summer League, LeBron said it. Some young cat that the Lakers had, some shooter, I don't even know who he is, some no-name, I forget his name, but LeBron was there, and he was like, yeah, he's definitely in. Like, he is making the call more than the GM is, and then, LeBron turned to GM like, yeah, he in, get him in, and GM get on the phone right away. It was like, yep, let's make this happen.
Look at it in the grand scheme of things, though. If you the GM and LeBron calls you and is like, hey, it's a kid on the Summer League team killing, I think we need him.
Right.
Are you going to really piss off your best player for the 15th spot on the goddamn bench?
Yeah, true
I'm
that.
I'm going to be like, say less. In fact, you could have them that 14th and 15th spot, whoever the fuck you
right.
We'll but get him in there. Right. Digging up J.R. Smith, old smoking ass, get his ass in there.
Get him up in here.
Shirtless J.R.?
Shirtless J.R. Come on down, buddy.
But it's player density, though, too. You have to think about it. The roster's smaller. So you have more influence. A 52-man roster on a football team.
It's crazy.
It's hard for you to get a lot of leverage. Odell's different because if you look at Odell's following, His following is insane.
He gonna get you that back
on the international level. If you go internationally, how known he is, that's rare for a receiver. Mm-hmm. I don't even think Jerry Rice is as known as him, and Jerry Rice is probably the best wide receiver to ever play. So I think that plays a part in what you're talking about with Odell. Mm-hmm. But is it creating a trend, or is that just a blip on the radar? Is that just an anecdotal exception? I
definitely think that's a blip on the radar.
That's what I'm thinking.
Odell can actually play fucking football.
Yeah, but then again, you know there's a lot of moves that's happening this offseason as well. I mean, I could say that they're trades. You know, I know that A.J. Brown was traded for a new draft pick. You know, was that him wanting out? You know what I mean? I'm just saying it starts with one person.
That probably was him wanting out. I mean, come on now. Tannehill can't throw the ball past.
Yeah, the fact that your defense, you know, were able to do what you did in that playoff game. Yeah. You know, it's hella funny. You know, it's funny that you just brought that up with that game. That game and the Niners-Packers game was so similar.
Oh yeah.
In the aspect, the only difference is Tannehill. They gonna shit on him. They gonna let Aaron Rodgers with the pass.
Yeah. Right.
When he and I love me some Aaron Rodgers, but he should be getting killed.
Oh,
you cannot, and I'm a Niner fan. Listen. You cannot allow as your defense not allow no offensive touchdowns, and you lose at home off some special team shit. Right. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers, you gotta get more than that. Listen, you have to.
It's a couple football players that's the darlings, never gonna get assassinated. Yeah. You're never gonna hear no Tom Brady slander. You're never gonna hear no Aaron Rodgers slander. Come on now.
I mean, we slandered him with the Spygate,
but they haven't though. But look at it. But who gets the most of the blame on that? Belichick gets the blame. He doesn't get that. He dodges those lasers, and Aaron Rodgers dodges those lasers too. Think about it. If you want to compare it to the Kyrie situation, with his situation with being vaccinated and all that, Stephen A. has been on Kyrie's helmet in regards to that, but he's had to basically save face a little bit and tried to play like he's coming down on Aaron Rodgers, but he really hasn't. He's been going out of his way. Man. He's been going out of his way going at Kyrie. And I get it, you know, Kyrie hasn't been playing. Aaron Rodgers was playing, but he ain't playing at the level that he should be. Yeah. And he should be getting criticism for what's going through. So if you had to judge
Aaron Rodgers' performance compared to Kyrie's, who do you think played better, had a better season?
I feel like this season was kind of tainted. I feel like it was tainted for Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
He had a better season, but it was still tainted because this was all before this whole season started. He wasn't even sure if he was really going to play with Green Bay.
That's true, too.
So I look at it almost kind of
like... What makes that tainted, though?
It makes it tainted like, really, Aaron Rodgers, you lost on some really special team shit. You weren't able to score the ball when it needed. But
I mean, it's a playoff thing because in the regular season he's killing. But it's the playoffs, and the Niners then had their number too.
Facts, but you got to look at it though. Aaron Rodgers is really a California guy. Yeah. He's not really built for that stuff. You know what I mean?
He's been over there like 10, 15
He has, but true. He's from California. He played his college ball at Cal. Right. You know, he's a real California dude.
He gotten used to it.
He hasn't had much success in Green Bay. You know what I mean? He has one. He
got a championship.
He got one early though
against my Steelers.
He got one early.
But to be honest, you know what? You make a good point, Warren. I don't agree total. I think he should have adjusted after this amount of years playing in Green Bay. But his one Super Bowl win, they played on the road on every single game.
Exactly. I'm telling you.
You got Google facts like on the back.
No, you know what's funny? No, you know what's funny? I noticed because he's a Steelers fan and and we talk about it all the time. Okay. Yeah. He hates Aaron Rodgers and obviously Green Bay beat them in the Super Bowl.
It's the only reason why. Yeah. Okay. My best friend ridiculed me for that shit, so I ain't never gonna let that one go. Okay. But in general,
say, damn, that's a hell of a stat.
but that makes you make a good point with that, Warren. He has the team
I don't
when he
give
won.
That point precedence just for the simple fact that was a California team that beat him. We don't got no type of snow out here. Okay. You know, Frisco had to make that adjustment. They had just came on beating the Cowboys in the dome, so it wasn't like they had time to prepare for that. They showed up and played and won. So
they played them before.
The special teams showed up.
Defense
and the special teams and the defense showed up. No, that offense wasn't there. I don't know where they was at. The field goal kicker showed up. I don't know where the rest of everybody else was at.
And Jimmy G was doing his best to give that game up. Man.
Yeah, there was a couple passes, bro. I was like, bro, what you doing?
He was doing his best.
Jimmy G a little different. He looked good.
But it's crazy. You know what? He's so. We was actually talking about it because we was at the bar watching the game.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because we was pissed the whole game. And then I said, Warren, watch what this nigga about to do. I said, he about to go down here and get us in field goal range and fucking win this game. And I'm like, he always does that, bro. Right. He pisses me off, but then he will always like make that last drive and get you in position.
Right.
And then it's
so
like,
weird.
You just sitting there like, bro, why can't you be like this the whole game?
Do you think that has anything to do with coaching?
I think it's psychological for him. I think it comes down for him when he don't have time to think about it and he just play. Yeah. That's why, because when you pull up his like 2-minute drill numbers,
he's good.
He's great. Like the Ram game and all that. Like, I'm not even talking about the championship game, the one that they had to win to get in the playoffs. Yeah. Like, he was ass the whole first 3 quarters. But as soon as the game gets tight or that throw where he don't have time to think. Yeah. I feel like he's more comfortable that way.
So he plays better under pressure.
He second guesses himself too much early in the game. That's why a lot of those interceptions come in. A lot of times it's because he throws the ball late.
Hella late.
That's like
fucking late all the time, especially over the middle.
But you don't expect that from a veteran quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, and Jimmy G just still ain't got it.
Especially somebody that learned behind Brady.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he gave you the fucking.
You can say anything about Brady is he get the ball.
No.
Nobody can do what Brady.
He don't turn the ball over. Like, he don't turn the ball over.
Nobody can do what Brady did. That motherfucker was magical, or should I say, still is magical.
Still is. He should have won that game against the Rams. To be honest, they should have won that game.
That was tough.
That was a classic.
Stafford stepped up that one.
He did. He dropped that dime.
Not a soul out here could guard me.
Yeah.
Well, we on the subject of football. I mean, let's talk about that for a hot second. I mean, these old veterans are retiring. Ben Roethlisberger. I know he ain't retired yet, but
he's done.
Tom is. He's on that line of who.
Tom is on HG.
Who is gonna?
I don't know.
You said what?
I said Tom is on the juice, man.
Oh yeah,
ain't no way he still got that much zip on the ball. True. We just seen like you're talking about quarterbacks going out. Drew Brees just went out.
True, another one.
Brees lost like miles off that velocity off of his ball. I mean, he was throwing ducks up the goddamn field.
Phillip Rivers.
Man, right? I thought Phillip could have. I mean, he literally showed it in Indy that last year that he could still game manage. Right. I don't think half these. I don't even see Big Ben doing that anymore.
Yeah, true.
It's too much weight too.
Yeah,
like that eventually that's going to your knees is screaming. Like they can't take on they can't take on that much weight anymore. Right. Like once you're that big, you got to start slimming down. That's the thing with LeBron. We just switching up to basketball. He has to because you can't pack on that much weight and be as athletic as he needs to be at his age. You talk about being somebody on the juice. I don't know what he got. He got a wizard. He got he on the sauce. I don't know what it is.
LeBron?
Like I don't think people talk about it enough with him. Like, bro, you're not seeing this. Like that. Like he's playing at that level. Like that last season
when he dunked on Kevin Love. Jesus. That's your boy.
No one should be still getting up like that at that age.
At all.
True.
Like that's just.
You can't say that because Vince Carter was still,
Nah.
He was at the age of 40 and just.
Yeah, he could dunk and he got that good old cockback, but he wasn't doing that on top of nobody.
Yeah, true that. Back to football. I wanted to mention this because I know it's not in our, but anyways, who is the top 4 teams? 2 in AFC, 2 in NFC. Because before we can always say that you're gonna find the Steelers in that bitch, you're gonna find the Patriots in that bitch.
The who?
Steelers was. I mean, I'm
Each conference.
Each conference.
Well,
like
shit,
what
if
I
you're
mean?
a Raider fan, you probably gonna put yourself number 1. They delusional as fuck.
I wasn't even thinking about that. Don't get me wrong. Devontae Adams is a beast, but sheesh,
bro. It's the Chiefs and the Bengals.
Okay, Chiefs and the Bengals. Oh wow, that's now that.
Shout out Justin.
The Bengals in there. They just went to the chip.
Yeah,
dude. The Chiefs and the Bengals.
Yeah.
Where's Buffalo?
That's who I was going to talk about. Buffalo.
Ready to get in another shootout and lose?
Hey, that shootout was a damn good shootout, though.
I was standing up through that whole.
The thing about it is, though, if Buffalo had another possession, they would have been in.
Oh yeah, they're clinching.
That was whoever had the ball. That. Was whoever had the ball.
They're clinching that.
Like I had a lot of respect for Josh Allen.
That was a great game.
Yeah. I felt so bad for him because I'm like, bro, that was literally one of those games where whoever had the last possession was gonna win.
I'm still mad they let Tyreek catch that little slant.
He skated. He skated.
Deuces.
But they ain't got Tyreek no more. That's a huge blow.
That's a huge blow.
That's a huge
We're
blow.
going to see what Mahomes got without him.
Facts.
He got a lot of depth at wide receiver.
We'll see. We'll see.
You a Raider fan?
No. I'm a Niner fan.
Oh, okay.
Hell no.
You was kind of giving me that vibe.
Listen.
We don't have no Raiders. No. There's no delusion up on here, man.
Look, we was talking about that last night, man. Raider fans give you that vibe, man. That only Raider fans give you.
What? Like you just be like,
they be saying some wild shit.
Yeah, they do.
I'm like, bro, what multiverse you living in?
We're gonna
The
start
black
the season
hole.
off 8-1. Like,
Every year, bro. Every year. It's
and
crazy.
I'm a Cowboys fan, and you'll never hear me say no nonsense like that. Like,
Y'all close, but y'all ain't there.
No, Raiders is
stupid ass Dallas fans.
but Raiders, it's a whole nother level. They'll
Facts.
come off a 3-win season, like, bro, we
Facts.
going to the bowl next year with no evidence,
and then talk about how much they got cheated and all.
I'm just like,
bring
bro.
up the Tuck rule 20 years later. Like,
Man.
come on.
Yeah, you can't have no conversation with no Raiders,
Nah,
bro.
they be
Because as soon as you prove them wrong, they be ready to
But
fight.
I will say, they
I'll be like, all right, I gotta
definitely
fight
got
this nigga now, because you won't accept that your team is trash.
They be ready to fight like they really got a contract,
Bro.
Trap
They
facts.
be saying shit just to get a rise out of motherfuckers to fight. Anyway, so I heard two teams out of the AFC. What about the NFC? Who's right? Because, I mean, it's a quarterback-driven league. And, I mean, with all the quarterbacks that we know and we grew up with leaving, who is taking over? And, I mean, Josh Allen, to me, asserted himself in a category of, like, he could definitely be an elite quarterback in this league that we look for and be scared of every time you played in.
He's not there yet, though.
What?
He almost there.
I mean,
you have to get
that's like saying,
to be an elite quarterback. I think that category is a small list. To me, you have to have at least gotten to the Super Bowl to be considered elite.
So Joe Burrow is elite over.
I think he's above Josh. Bro, you have to think about this.
Damn.
That's
That
a tough
offensive
assessment.
line, that offensive line was one of the worst offensive line. That was all Joe Burrow. You got to think about it. They almost won that if literally if he had a
few
half
more
a second to
seconds
throw that ball.
to chase.
If they had to give
Jalen
him
Ramsey was
anything,
Ramsey was baked.
bro, I'm
He
telling you
was.
right now, I've never seen a quarterback at that level, basically everything stacked against him and able to get his team that far.
Yeah.
Like that. Like I think people are sleeping on how good he is. Now, Josh
He
Allen
only
is
had
great.
1.5 seasons to show us his
Bro,
greatness.
but they were great though. Even
off ACL.
Right?
even after the last year, because his stats was real good even before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then this season he just came out firing. Him and Chase just linked up. Just the chemistry was
Isn't
on
it
point.
crazy? Like, I played wide receiver in high school and whatnot. And it was just, just watching Chase develop is crazy.
Doing his thing.
That's
he
crazy.
looks like a
Yeah.
video game player.
Yeah,
Like,
he was doing his
he
thing.
really doing stuff like you like.
Because during the offseason, he was looking like trash.
I thought he was just gonna be regular.
Yeah. During preseason, he was dropping hella shit.
Dropping hella
He
shit.
dropped
Yeah.
hella shit during the season too.
But, I mean,
It was
he
the
made
easy
it up.
passes. That's what he was dropping. He
Yeah.
was making all the spectacular catches, but he was dropping some
It's
easy
funny
ones.
though, because I just said in our group chat, because we have a fantasy football league, and I was just like, "Fuck, man! Like, why did I trade Jamar Chase?
Damn.
You know what I mean? Because I could have kept him as a keeper. So I'm like hurting over that right now. I shouldn't have traded him,
Oh yeah. That's true.
I mean, you had to have picked him high. Why would you trade someone?
dude. I mean, the rookies always go late, so I
Yeah.
could have. I got him like in the 6th round. So this year I would have just lost a 6th rounder. You know what I mean? But I dealt him.
The real question is who you traded him.
I got Tyreek. I got Tyreek.
I
out of
mean,
that.
Well, it's not- you can't
I
be-
got Tyreek.
I ain't mad at that. Nobody knew what Jamar.
I think for your, but I can understand on the leverage side because you would have been able to keep him at the pick that you got him
Correct.
at. But on a talent level, you're fine on the
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
But I will see if he gonna put up the same points in Miami though.
Yeah, it's a different ball game when you don't got Patrick Mahomes throwing you the ball or Andy Reid.
I like
calling the
Tua
game.
though. I like Tua. Tua gets a lot of hate, but I like Tua.
I like Tua too.
I think
Tua
he's nice.
better put up a shut up this year.
Facts.
No, he got all the
Facts.
weapons.
He got everything.
He got all
the
weapons.
He got a good defense. He got a solid running game.
Weren't they talking about bringing? Oh, they were talking about bringing Brady in over there. That's what I heard. But I mean, that's just all
Yeah.
rumors and stuff like that. Are they talking about getting another quarterback there? Or I thought.
Well,
Get
They
Brady?
flirted. They flirted with it.
flirted with
Yeah, they flirted.
Man, getting Brady over there.
I mean,
It ain't that far.
yeah, that's
Tampa
what
to
I'm
Miami.
saying, Yeah.
He ain't even gotta move.
He ain't even got to move at all.
Jeez.
Let me go get this ring real quick for y'all that y'all
Real
ain't seen
fast.
in so long.
But I don't think they got enough weapons to win, even with Brady. They just
On the
be really
defensive
good.
side, is it that would?
Because I mean, who they have as a running back? They got rid of Kenyon.
They got
Drake.
Fournette.
Yeah.
Miami?
Fournette went to Miami?
No, Tampa. We're talking about Tampa. Oh, yeah, talking about Miami?
I was talking about Miami.
Oh, okay. Jalen Waddle, a real boy, though.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle's nice.
Nice. But still, even then, it's more than the wide receivers. As he alluded to, you got to have a line that can protect you as well. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if the Pouncey brother is still there, but I know the other one retired for the Steelers.
Yeah, I think they both going now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Man, we could talk all night about these sports, bro. We could let this shit go.
Well, Ryan, man, we got you on the show, and once again, I want to thank you for coming on the show, blessing the show, stunting with the little bezzy. You see his bezzy, man? Go ahead and put the bezzy in there. Go ahead and,
I seen real one. I'm not putting this little $200-$300 watch up there.
Stunting on him, man. For the people who don't know, we all want to know, what it is that you bring. Obviously, our show is mainly geared towards the nightlife, as we all work to the nightlife. But what do you do?
So currently, I'm the general manager for London, Sacramento.
All right.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Trying to bring a vibe to downtown.
Okay. I've been seeing London out there a lot lately. A few different.
Good and bad.
Yeah. Well, the bad is.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
The bad is basically just mentioned in a way that it seems like it's coming from a location because they got to put the blame on someone. But that wasn't that venue at all. You know, what I mean?
Especially the ones like we were there.
Right.
We know
what
exactly.
It was.
Exactly. So they want to mix in the bad with it, but there shouldn't be a stigma about that. In general, I've been seeing a lot of positive things. Yeah, I've been working with some great promoters, promoters that we've had in the past. Mr. Cool Code himself. And I've been seeing a nice vibe out there, man. It's been really nice. Trying to change that aspect of it being a different location. But so what do you have in plan for London?
Oh, man, the end game is to just have a self-sufficient running business at the end of the day. My goal is always to have a place, a venue for people that look like me to be able to be safe, have a good time, and change the stigma around what happens when people who look like us get together. So that's always been a goal of mine, and I feel like we're on the path to that.
That's good, man, because truth be told, there isn't a lot of locations like that.
No,
shout out to that.
So that's huge.
So what keeps you here in the industry? What you've been in the industry, you've been doing this for a while. You well versed and more acquainted. And familiar. What keeps you?
Man, that's a good question. Honestly, I could just tell you it's gotten so easy for me. Just because I know the business like the back of my hand now. Okay. That came with the lumps, the trial and errors, throwing a party as a promoter and only my friends show up. You know what I mean? Like I've been through it all. You know what I mean? I've worked every job in a club, I always tell our staff at the club that, I'll never ask you to do something I wouldn't do. You know what I mean? So, that just, lets them know I'm in those trenches with them. If I see a bar back struggling to clean up some throw up, I'm going to get right in there with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, I would never want anyone to feel like I've felt in those same situations before. So,
like no one's there to help you?
Exactly. So, you know what I mean? Like, I love the camaraderie that we have between the staff. I love the relationships I build with people. The worst thing about building all the relationships with so many different people is that you end up going to these funerals as well. You know what I mean? Like I've been to 3 funerals this year, about to be a 4th, and it's heartbreaking. You know what I mean? Because it's like at certain points you start feeling like, well, what could you have done differently? Was there something I could have done to avoid this situation? And it's just the nature of the beast.
No, that's understand. I think we was talking about it on the show last week. Being in this industry, you seen, and you see a high influx of people that's coming in and out, and you networking with people
nonstop,
you seeing how people navigate and how people move, and you building those relationships, and as small as it may be, it don't have to be major. It ain't got to be somewhere they your best friend.
Yeah.
But it's familiarity. It's consistent. Yeah. It's it's repetitive. And so when you see them, it's kind of like you almost like, damn, I just saw that dude. Like what? Like that's the attitude, and it messes with you because even though if you didn't have the most tightest relationship with that person, you didn't have to be a family member to kind of feel like, damn, like what's going on with the world? It starts to make you have that type of question.
It starts making you doubt yourself.
Yeah,
literally. But
what's going on with the world, huh?
Yeah,
man. what is going on with the world.
So we can kind of stay on that, unfortunately, you're aware, Sacramento's, recent shootings, 15th Street and
K Street,
K Street, and, what happened on the 4th of July, rest in peace to Greg, Serge, a lot of the people, everyone, these things have, like I spoke about, it's something like there's a piece there that's missing because you familiarize yourself with these people every night. You have conversations with them, and it just gets tough. What are your thoughts on the rise of Sacramento's downtown violence and how's it affected you?
I feel like it's a meeting point. Downtown is right between the south, the north, the east. And that's where everybody congregates. Now, the thing that we look at as, venues and people who work in this industry is, there's certain people you want in the club and there's certain people you don't want in the club. And
speak on it.
That could be anybody. You know what I mean? Like, that could be somebody who you never met them before. It could be a young lady walking up and she say something like, I can't stand these fucking people or something. Like, you automatically know it's the beginning of the night. Why you got that bad energy?
Right.
Yeah.
I probably don't want you in here. You probably had a bad day at work. You're going to get upstairs, the drink's going to hit you, somebody going to bump you, you're going to turn around, hit them with a heel. Don't want you in the club. But then, when you start making those calls, people start talking their trash, they start talking shit. And, it's just, always about protecting the business, but it's not even about the business because we wouldn't have a business without the people coming through the door.
Right.
So, it's about protecting the people coming in the door that I know for a fact are just here to have a good time. You know what I mean? So it's a balance. It's a balancing act.
Sacramento is on the rise, and I had this conversation with someone earlier this week. Like, we're on the rise to where we're finally, not even finally, but we're a location people want to come.
A little bit.
People are coming to Sacramento.
It's finally happening. Like
for what?
It's a mass exodus of the Bay, bro.
It is.
I'm from there. I'm saying, so I know. Like, it's like, bro, they look like, bro, we tired of paying this, the gas side, mortgage side, rent side. They trying to come here, but I understand what you mean. There's more things that are opening up that are more attractions, I guess you would say, that's gonna
for people to go
invite more people to the population.
And with that happening, we get more chaos. Things that are accustomed in a different city are not accustomed in Sacramento. We're starting to get that now because we're coming to a location or some point of a city where people want to be at.
Definitely.
And we get the good and the bad with that. And obviously we're going through the bad part with the good as well. I hate to reference, a Spider-Man movie, but with great power comes great responsibility. You
hella corny.
I'm sorry, but I'm just saying.
All right, Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben. Just saying. It's starting to make sense. You know what I mean? With the great rise of the city comes great responsibility for everybody to be accountable for certain actions.
Definitely.
And meaning that in a way of, now we're realizing that, dang, we're becoming this destination city, and we're still using the old school police officer. I hate to point the stigma against police, but we're still using that old school method, and we need a change in a way that could support this rise.
Yeah.
When we started building the new arena downtown, we still had a homeless issue downtown, which they wanted to change. It has gotten worse. They attempted to change. They attempted to move them to a different location, but after they attempted, it's like they fell off. They felt like it was good enough, and then it reverted back to
them off their doorstep right there while they was taking those pictures.
Right.
That's all that came down to.
Yeah, that's all it is. We talk about it all the time. The illusion of caring is easier than actually caring.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to that whole homeless aspect, they'll show that they care just so they can get them off, off the property, so they're not detracting people from patronizing their business.
Right.
When we talk about the homeless issue, bro, we ain't got shit compared to Frisco, LA, man. Have you seen that shit?
At all.
Absolutely.
Bro, they got penthouses that they done built on the street.
Stupid.
Bro, how you got an upstairs? Like, you got a whole loft in your shit.
Stupid.
Like, bro, they innovative over there, man.
Right.
But
it's like, he said, I'm gonna go in my rec room.
Even bringing that up though, like, I feel like the city, it has a lot of blame on their doorstep. You know what I mean? Like with the homeless situation, with the shootings. Why are there not? You go to any major city. So I went to San Diego earlier this year. Gaslamp had a cop car at every other venue.
Man, love Gaslamp.
Man, love Gaslamp.
Love Gaslamp, bro.
San Diego,
San Diego, man. I'll be honest. That's one. I was just saying this, man. Like, I love San Diego. If there was any spot that I could move,
Love San Diego.
I would. That's the place I would go.
And afford is the other question,
bro.
But what you were saying though is what I was trying to get at: the reference between the homeless and having a security or a police officer stationary in the nightclub areas. We have a strip where people go to, and they know that. And why aren't we having a lot more at night officers that are working OT, whatever it may be, stationary at these locations and making people feel safe?
It's too expensive, man. That's what they say.
Don't let them lie to you though, because they'll get the money from somewhere. They always get the money when they want it. You know, even if the clubs needed to pay for it. So I used to promote at Harlow's and Momo's. All the clubs right there, Bar West, Blue Q, everybody put money in and paid for the cop that used to be right there on the corner.
Right.
That stopped so many. I'm talking about issues.
Right. It's just a deterrent.
Yeah,
it's just like putting
a deterrent.
It's just like putting an ADT sound in front of your house. The chances of your house getting broken in compared to the one that don't. Yeah, it's massive. That percentage is massive. They're gonna go to the next spot that don't have a camera. They don't have this. They don't have that. They're not more likely than not. They're not gonna start no static. Yeah. With no police or no squad car up there. That's just. And like, honestly, what it is.
Be honest, how much is it going to cost to park a squad car on the corner by Social and D30, one by London and one by Tiger? That's 3 cars, 3 units until 2:30 or 3, and then one patrolling, going around, just driving around slowly. Like, the city can make all the excuses they want, but like we've been here for too long.
And what's interesting because we outside and we can see it. What's so interesting is I see a high influx of police cars all over when I start at 10, 11. Oh, they active, right? But then when it gets to be like 1 o'clock,
when they need them,
I'll be like, where? That's what I'm saying. Like, so it's not, to me. It's almost like I don't know if it's a shift schedule. I don't know if it's a situation of making the coverage, that type of thing. But I'll be honest. I see them out there earlier, but then I don't see them when the times they need. The shit don't really be popping off when the club just open up. Right. Not from 9 to 11 don't really nothing be popping. It's when we letting people out.
Well, it's common sense. When does alcohol hit you? It's not gonna hit you
right
10
away.
O'clock. People are getting ramped up. The whole you talk to a DJ, they building the night up. You know what I mean, for that crescendo. So cops know this.
Oh, he said crescendo.
Oh yeah, crescendo.
Nice.
The apex period of the night.
Exactly. So that 12:30, 12:45, 1 o'clock. That's everybody's looking for that moment. I mean, think about it. How many people come rushing to the club for that last 45 minutes?
All the time.
You know what I mean? Like we'll get a late night rush all the time because people want to get in there, and only be in there for about an hour, have a good time, and get out. But that's because they've been drinking at other places. They've been having a good time before. Now they're just trying to end their night on a high note. Crescendo.
But that's a point. I don't really be seeing the cops patrol, and I don't want to. Like I said, I ain't got the entire ins and outs, and I don't want to put it all on them. They do have to navigate, other areas of SAC where the peak crime time hours. So I get it, but it's like I feel like with downtown for the city's sake and for the city's benefit. Every city deals with this. Every major city, any big city, any city that's got a population over 500,000, there's going to be areas where the police need to be more active because that type of activity is going on, right? But the one thing you can't have happen is in the middle of the place that's making you the money.
And
right there, you can't have bodies on the ground.
Right.
You cannot afford that. Las Vegas Boulevard cannot afford to have bodies in front of Caesar's Palace.
Right.
That is prime time. But if you go down the street, up off of it, that should be
West
happening
Street.
all the time.
Right.
But as long as it ain't happening in front of MGM during a Floyd Mayweather fight, they don't care. So because that's where the money is. And Sacramento's no different. Like especially as
but
you
they
talk,
don't treat it like it's the money though.
No, they don't.
Like really think about it. So we have a staff of 27, I think it is at the club. Yeah. That's 27 people paying taxes. That's a business paying taxes directly to the city. So if this is your investment, it's for these clubs and bars right there in a small circumference. Why are you not protecting it? It's people. It's engineers, doctors, regular day, blue collar people coming down there. Why are you not protecting them as investments?
Right.
Like they don't even think about it like that. Because if we close now, 27 people out of a job.
Right.
That's 27 people not paying taxes to the city. Now y'all really don't got a budget. You start about it's too expensive to put a squad car out there. Well, how you gonna put it out there if we close down?
Right.
I need to know.
I have heard that they've been trying to get off-duty cops in different cities and different areas coming to the area to help out, but I just haven't seen the help, I guess, you know, and then once again, that could just be me, but I have been outside.
I haven't seen it. Have you?
You know,
said you haven't.
I haven't.
I know you are.
There are a few locations that I remember doing it, and it's sad to say. Once again, we had a crazy shooting on the 4th of July. R.I.P. Mr. Greg Najee Grimes. But I used to see him in front of that location all the time. At least when I was going out, you know, they were right out front,
right in the front,
right in the front.
And that's so much, and that's like we talked about is the deterrent, man. You don't even need to engage too much. It's just you being there. People are going to have a second thought about raising their voice.
I don't
about
think
bumping into somebody. It's gonna, and then if you do bump into somebody, you're gonna second guess whether you need to swing on them or not. Like there's so many things that come to play when you got that squad car there.
I don't think the shooting happens if that squad car is there.
No,
definitely not.
100%.
Definitely not. Neither of the last two happened.
Right.
If a squad car,
was there,
and it's crazy because those are things that, you know, hindsight is always going to be 20/20. It's always going to be 20/20. But these are things that should be the norm. The norm should be you should be walking up to a nightclub and see a squad car there.
Right.
You know, just in case. You know, I've seen a huge fight about to break out, you know, on the corner of our club, and a squad car pull up and put the lights on, and everybody scatter like roaches.
Right.
You know,
it all stops.
It all stops immediately. You know, they're gonna be, you know, cussing each other out on the way to the car, but that's it. You know,
maybe that's something where entertainment police gets together and they have a meeting and they go out to each and every individual club and not necessarily add it on, but
what do the entertainment police come when they pull up on us?
When something actually bad happens.
They not even then. So they came Friday, came in, checked our books, and left.
Oh code enforcement.
Yeah, code enforcement.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they have these teams available. But what you're checking our paperwork, you could check in the computer and see if the business has up to date paperwork. You know, but you're choosing not to, you know, put the money where it needs to be. Put a squad car out there and stop sending these people in here to check notebooks and paperwork.
Right.
That you could clearly see in your system is up to date. It bothers me on a whole different level.
There's differences, man. We're going through a change, as we used to say, man. It's a shift for SAC, man, and hopefully we're shifting in the right way. Hopefully the people that are in power are talking about ways and being able to deter these simple situations that are happening in our city, which are not necessarily degrading it, but we're getting a bad name now because of it. I went online and seen some stupid shit on TikTok. It was like, oh, you know it's bad when you're from this city, and it showed our city. I read the comments and, you know, it was like, oh yeah, that place is dirty, and I was like, what you mean? Like, what you mean dirty? Like, you know, like that's why I don't go out. Like, well, that's you not going out. Like, nah, Sacramento.
You know, so that's crazy to me because like when the incident happened right up the block from us, you know, I was all in the comments. You know, of course, you can't help it, but you're looking, you're reading, and you know they're doing everything possible to drag your location. Right. You know, especially since we're people of color, you know, they definitely wanted to point the blame at us. So, you know, it's unfortunate because, you know, everyone wants the capital to be a big city, but with big city comes big city problems.
I said that last week.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, people don't really think about that. Like, okay, so say we open up 3 more venues, that's 3 more opportunities for something crazy to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like people don't think about those the other side of that. Like, oh, it's nothing to do in SAC. Well, the moment the people who are in power start putting things together, you know, people don't know how to act. Now it's like, this why I don't go out.
What happened at Sawyer? Like, look what happened there.
Like
they had pool parties going on and everything, but the residents came down on their heads, said no more of this because they gonna dip.
Listen, I was upstairs having the time of my life. I had just got done talking to the general manager at the time because I wanted to throw a pool party there. I was still being a party promoter at the time. And one of my homegirls, you know, is real tight with Chris Brown camp. So I was like, man, listen, if I could just get him an offer to come down here and do this pool party at the Sawyer, I'm going to be winning. Like, that's going to be it. So I went and talked to them. They loved everything I had to say. We partied, turned up. And then my boy came out here from the Bay. He had a suite upstairs. We go upstairs and we just up there drunk as hell. You know, I'm celebrating. I'm like, man, this is the first step towards where I want to be.
Right.
Man, my phone started going off. I still remember. I walked up to the window and pulled it open and looked downstairs. There's cops everywhere. It's a shootout. I mean, not a shootout, but a high speed chase going on. That was, you know, Sacramento can't have shit.
Man,
you can go, and that's another example. Thunder Valley.
Oh,
you remember them days,
bro?
Yeah.
Man. Like there was a fight just in the line. There used to be fights in the line.
I seen a chick get pieced up in the line one time, literally. I said, "Oh god damn!"
I was just there actually last weekend.
Melatonin punches.
They actually revamped it.
Nigga.
They revamped their pool over there, and I actually liked everything out there. The cabanas is looking good. But then I look at it, I'm like, dude, it's literally just for whoever stays here, you know. And it could be so much more. It used to be so much more.
But I think another part of it though too is, and this is another aspect, is they don't rely on the security enough. And they don't invest enough in the security. You can so I've given an example like Thunder Valley.
Okay.
They didn't have enough.
No, hell no.
They didn't have enough. You have to have enough to control that many people. And when you do that, then it's I think it's more containable.
Yeah.
But in the same thing in any other venue, you know it's gonna when you're gonna attract an abundance of people or a high influx of people, you're gonna have to have the security there. And the one thing you can't do on the spreadsheet of your expenses is try to shortchange that aspect, because that's usually the line item that they really try to shortchange. It's like, okay, I'm gonna squeeze out the least amount of security that I need for this situation, because it's predicated on basically security's only blamed when the bad shit happens.
Yeah.
Right.
And so so when you compare it to, let's say if you looked at a whole year, every weekend, and maybe you had 3 incidences, the club or the venue or the ownership is looking at it from a percentage of like, okay, maybe I can weather that with just allowing those 3 situations to happen. The problem is that those situations could be so high profile and so viewed, it can be so detrimental to your business.
The thing about owners is that they'll look at it like, okay, we got away with it 2 times. We could get away with it again.
Right.
And that'd be the time that 6'2", 280 motherfucker come through there and you don't got enough people to stop him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, it definitely comes as a detriment when they're trying to save money and, you know, keep these events going, but it is what it is.
It's one of those things. Well, you're a well-traveled person.
Yeah.
You know, we obviously talked about the gas lamp district earlier. With you being well-traveled, you know, with your experiences, what are some locations or what are some cities that you think Sacramento could not necessarily mimic, but help copy to be one of those major cities and be a dominant force, I guess, out here in California?
I say a realistic one, like something that's attainable.
Something that San Diego is very attainable.
Right.
Okay.
You know, look at how the Gaslamp District is set up. It's a couple streets all in a row, and all the businesses are right there, all the clubs and bars and whatnot. It's the same thing here. You know, the same exact thing. And you know, the funny thing is, one time I went to San Diego, and it was goddamn, I can't remember what holiday it was, but they had all the streets blocked off, no through traffic. We could easily set that up every Friday and Saturday night. No through traffic through K Street and through 10th. That's literally a 2-street dynamic that they act like they can't police and they don't know what's going on. That's not rocket science.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you do that makes everyone park, you know, outside of a perimeter. Everyone has to walk in. You know, it's automatically slowing everything down. With one of the, which one was it? With the shooting that happened in front of El Santos, you know, that people were driving through there. It just made it even like way worse.
The accessibility is your enemy.
Exactly.
Because as you just talked about, if you got everything blocked off, that means you have to walk to your vehicle, which now exits you and gives you, and you insulated from the venue and them.
And it's making people park further away. Like, if I know I got to walk a mile to get the gun, I'm just going to get there and not come back. Okay?
Right.
Listen,
Right.
like,
I'm going to rethink myself as I'm walking over
by the time I get there,
I'm like, you know what?
Fuck that nigga.
All right, man.
But that's true, though.
But they don't think like that, though. Like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would definitely say San Diego. I would even say Scottsdale. You know what I mean? Like
Arizona.
I done partied up and down that joint. And that's something they don't have through traffic on their busy nights.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're shutting down, what's that, 2 streets? Maybe 3 streets. You know what I mean? Like, and all you see is thousands of people just walking through there.
Right.
And they're making money because it's like, okay, I can't get in here. Okay, I'm going to go here. You know, and it's just, it's bringing the city revenue, and they're protecting that.
Well, I think the city's already set up to at least shutting down K Street, but I think you're talking about the other streets that are kind of lateral or horizontal to K Street.
So, literally, you look at 10th Street.
K Street should be shut off.
K Street and 10th, I feel like, should be shut off.
Yeah.
Only because, so our club is right here on the corner. El Santos is here. D30 is here. Social is here. So that's definitely a hot spot. You shut off these 2 blocks and then K Street, then all the accessibility for people, you know, say someone wants to do a drive-by or something like that. They can't do it now. You know what I mean? They can't drive through there drunk. No one's getting hit anymore. You know, just pedestrians walking through there drunk. You know, people get drunk and step off in the street all the time. Somebody, a little buzz come through there and, you know, hit somebody, there's another accident we're talking about. So, you know, it just cuts down on so much, you know, of what could be.
I like, you know, that those are good places. Gaslamp, because I really like how they got that set up, man. Another spot that I like, and I've been to the city a few times, is Dallas. It's that
I've been to Dallas.
And Warren, you know about this Deep Ellum. Deep Ellum of Dallas, I think that's something that Sacramento can attain.
Okay.
Like that whole aspect. And they got a real nice setup with just rooftop bars. They basically just have rows of rooftop bars that you could just go from spot to spot to spot. And it's just connected blocks.
Okay.
Just like that. And I think that's something that Sacramento could definitely tap into.
I need to add that to the list.
It sounds like blocking off a few of the roads could do some major good, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Sounds like more police enforcement at that time. They do it for the Kings game. Why not just go ahead and do it for the Nightlife?
What are they doing for the Kings game?
They shut off a few streets.
They're protecting their investments.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the biggest money.
So that tells you what they value.
Yeah, they don't value us.
And what they don't.
Right. You know what I mean? Like I said, we employ 27 people. How many people employed at the Kings Stadium?
Yeah.
It's a little city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is a lot to think about right there.
Let's keep it nightclub though, man. You know, what if the walls could talk?
There you go.
The walls could talk, man. We gotta have this. We gotta know this.
Oh, man.
Because you know, you definitely been in this industry long enough. You got a lot of stories, man. What's the most foul shit you done seen in the club? Any club. It ain't gotta be Sac. Anywhere.
I got plenty of foul shit that happened in Sac. How much time we got?
He's
on
like,
this?
hold on, oh no, it's here. Shit,
man. I've seen it all. I've seen the backdoor business deals. You know, I've seen big time promoters couldn't. You know, they'll be stunting online, but then you get to the venue and they have zero pool, can't get their brother in the club. Like blood brother in the club. Like,
right.
I've seen a lot. You know, recently I seen a chick show up to the club with her dude, and then chose up in the club, and then he got beat up outside. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
You know, it's just. I mean, I've seen it all in this bit. Well, I don't want to say I've seen it all, but I've seen a lot because you know it's always something else that surprises me.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah. I've definitely seen that the most recent times too. It was a girl in the club. And I'm at the door, and I mean, she's everywhere. This dude, she's sitting on the counter, she's naked. I'm like sloppy, like, blah, 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 like damn near put her tongue in his ear type shit from the cheek and shit. It was crazy. It was crazy, right? And then all of a sudden, some dude shows up, you know, and I'm stopping him at the front door. I'm like, nigga, you in basketball shorts and flip flops? You think I'm letting you in here? Yeah. He's like, nah, but man, that's my girl. I need my girl out here. I'm like, nigga, go back home and change, and I'll let your ass in here. Yeah. Anyways, she was not trying to come out whatsoever after being caught necking so many other motherfuckers in the club, all right? And dude, you know, he's hot, he pissed off, and he finally get her to come outside the venue. And then, you know,
let her go, man.
I'd have left her.
I would have too, but here to spin out. Here to spin. This nigga's hot, he's pissed off. He obviously seen her doing some stupid shit. Yeah. She come out the club and finally talk with him and kind of walk down the street. Now, you would think this nigga's pissed off and would try to go off and whoop her ass.
Love her.
Nigga, let me tell you, that love got his ass beat by her. Like, she started turning around and start slapping and beating this nigga up. And I was like, I'm confused. What just happened here? Like,
I'd have let him go.
You got caught. You know, like, it was the most silliest, craziest, stupid things for me. And then end up happening, he got beat up outside, and then he ended up driving off with his boy, and she went back inside to do the same shit.
Bro, let the hoe go, man.
Man.
Let
these hoes ain't loyal.
What Tyler Perry say? Let them go.
Let them go.
Like, come on, man. Like, if you got to show up in the flip flops
and gym shorts,
the slides,
like, bruh.
looking for your woman. She gone already. She gone as soon as you went and got in the car. She was gone. She was gone before you woke up that morning.
Yeah. Man,
like come on now, you just gotta let that go.
Crazy shit.
Life lesson learned for him.
Yeah, definitely a lesson.
Was it?
Damn, he had a couple knots on his head. He must have had a lesson.
Slapping the fuck out of him. I was like, nigga, what happened? How did it twist? Like, how did the plot twist happen? Like, what the fuck?
She flipped it.
How
on that
you
nigga.
mad? You got caught. You know what I mean?
Flipped it on me.
Shit.
You know what's funny that you all said if these walls could talk. I got another story. Back when I was being a promoter, at the time I was still at Momo's. And I'm glad you called it "If These Walls Could Talk" because I'm not gonna say these guys' names because they're definitely still relevant, and I still got the text messages by the way too. But so they approached me and was like, you've been running Momo's for a couple years now. Why don't you come down here? I'm not gonna say the name of the club either, but why don't you come down here and throw a party down here? Step it up.
Okay.
I'm like, say less. I've been waiting for the opportunity. Let's do it. I had my first event there. We did about 85, 95 people.
Nice. Okay.
You know what I mean? And keep in mind, they were dead. They were completely, like, I walked in the weekend before, they might have had 20 people. But 85, 95 people is not good for my standards, for my goals, what I want to attain. So, I'm sitting there, I'm kicking myself. It was a great mixed crowd, too. It was, a bunch of girls, only a couple of dudes. They were mainly my boys showed up. I got a text message, a couple of days later, hey Banks, how you doing? I'm like, oh, what's good? Can I stop by and pick up, my money or whatever? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna have it for you, but I don't think we're gonna do this moving forward. I'm like, wait a minute, what? What happened? Like 0 incidents that night. Great night. They ended up selling more that night with that 95 people I had pull up than they had like in a month. And he was like, yo, the owner said they want a more diverse group.
Oh, man. Here we go.
I said, wait a minute.
Here we go.
If you don't see my black ass right here, this ain't diverse enough for me, right? You know what I mean? So, like, literally, it just, that set the tone and let me know exactly how it could be, how it could get behind these closed doors. Like, people don't even understand that side of the business. Like, I just put money in this owner's hand with all these people that showed up, and he literally was like, yo, I want a more diverse group.
Man, we got to hear what venue this is off camera.
Yeah.
Off camera.
Off camera, yeah. We got to talk about
who was in it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I still got the text messages.
God
they know better. They don't even say my name because they know, like.
It's almost getting harder for diverse people to be anywhere. It's like you don't want us. You know what I mean? There was scandals years before COVID about, certain clubs being racist and, their stigmas that they have on dress code. Don't get me wrong. I understand dress code and I'm not going to bash it. But just, in the past, it's been stigmas about them trying to keep certain type of people out.
Well, speaking back to your point where you say, Sacramento's shifting towards, big city culture. You can go anywhere in America damn near and there's no dress code. What they don't realize here in Sacramento is that the people in power are still old school. Still, they've been there for years.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to really think about it. They still think to them that a guy getting dressed to go to the club should have on jeans, click clacks, and a button up. Fashion has shifted so fucking far away from that. Nobody's wearing that to a nightclub. If you required us to make that our dress code, nobody would show up. Like, I spend plenty of money in clubs when I do go out. I'm not wearing that shit, and I feel like I could dress pretty fucking nice. Right. But you know what I mean? Like, that's just not going to happen. So, like, those old people who have been in power for so long, like, they're still holding on, and they're putting a stringent grip on the city that, it makes it hard to move forward. Like, I can't tell people, like, oh, you can't wear Jordans. Right. You can't wear Jordans, but, I could let this guy in with these $40 Vans on.
Right. That's a number
Where
one.
Where does that make sense?
That's
I'm trusting this motherfucker with this $250 pair of shoes on because he's not trying to crease him. He's not trying to mess him up. And I know he's, that's the type of client you want. Someone who takes care of themselves. Somebody walking in some Vans probably don't give a fuck about you. Right. And going to kick you dead in the nose if they get a chance. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The city is, it just needs to be a shift of the people who make decisions for everybody.
I'm throwing my Vans away tonight. Fuck that shit.
No, I still wear my Vans. But I'm saying though, like, that's just a, that's
no,
just
I feel
you.
No, I hear you.
That's a stigma.
That dress code thing is such a. We talked about early on when we started this thing just about dress code, and I get it from both sides. It's kind of it becomes a a domino effect of consequences.
Definitely.
Because, on the one hand, you got these situations, and we can pull up the numbers. We talk about it all the time. When these events happen and somebody that gets killed, somebody gets hurt, somebody gets in a fight, bro, they take a snapshot photo of what you looking like, what you dressed in. That's a statistic. It's no difference than car insurance.
Definitely.
And they rank that, and they're like, okay, man, they wearing this, so we got to keep this out. The problem is, it's not necessarily the things that they're wearing. It's not really that. I understand that that's how you've identified that person. That's how you've objectified them and categorized them in what you want to keep out. But that's you. It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's the type. It's just like the crowd itself. It's picking up on those early cues in the night that I think is crucial. Yeah. Like as you said, somebody coming in with a bad attitude, like, you know what, man, it ain't your night tonight.
Not tonight.
You might need man, maybe next week, maybe tomorrow. Like, because sometimes you got to make those decisions because somebody coming in with that bad energy already pissed off. What if they just lost their job and now they showing up at the club, they pissed off. They already down to half a bottle of 151. Now they want to come up in here and turn up. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like like, bro, you coming in there with the jet fuel in your stomach, bro. You gonna take off like a rocket on somebody in there.
And it just takes that one trigger. And,
right.
You know what I mean, like that's why I mean, you've sat in on them plenty of the security meetings. I always tell the guards, like, get out there and feel people. You know what I mean? Like, I walk through the crowd all the time, just because I know, like, if I'm standing in a corner, I may pick up on something, but I don't feel that energy. You know what I mean? Like, when somebody bump into you, you know if that's a friendly, I'm off balance drunk. Ooh. You know what I mean? But if somebody walking through there with bad intentions, you're going to feel that immediately.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, just trying to avoid those triggers and making sure you're taking care of your people is key.
We need a shift, Sacramento.
Man, big shift.
Earlier you talked about goals. You had mentioned like you brought like 85 and that wasn't your goal, that, you were doing it. With you bringing in a lot of people, what is your future looking like? What are you looking to achieve in this nightlife industry?
Oh, man, definitely ownership. Like, I feel like it would be dope as hell because, like, when I first got to Sac and turned 21, I remember it was like Tennell 21,
Man, I remember
they weren't black owned, but it felt black owned, you know what I mean?
Like, girls could not walk on them
old
Sac streets.
Nobody walk on them old Sac streets. Still can't.
That shit was funny as hell to see.
Even Cafe New Orleans, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's missing representation in the city, and it's us that's missing.
There are very few clubs where you find a lot of ethnic people gathering at, because they know that they can't go to these other locations and be accepted the way they are.
Definitely.
So what you're saying is huge. We do need more ethnic cultures out here.
Definitely.
Even myself being included, I used to love going to specific Jamaican restaurants. I got Jamaican blood in me.
From Oakland, and let me tell you,
everywhere, right?
I love Oakland.
Everywhere.
I could go to Oakland any day of the week, just because that culture is there, that vibe is there. You see people like us who are successful. And, that's definitely something I want to bring to the city of Sacramento.
All right, whether it be in the nightlife industry, restaurant industry, clothing industry, whatever it is. So
big facts.
That's huge, man. And I thank you for at least saying that publicly, because a lot of people need to hear that. There's not a lot of locations for people to go that want to be themselves and could be accepted, And it's all about energy, reading the vibe, reading how people are. And speaking about vibe, I know that you have your own podcast.
Yeah.
Curated Vibes.
Curated Vibes. Shout out to my team.
Talk about it a little bit. Let people know about it.
Curated Vibes is just a roller coaster ride, man. Like, it's crazy. It's taking on a life of its own. My whole goal was, I'm a huge music fan. I'm a music junkie. So, like, I always, one of the questions I've always wanted to know is, like, what was the vibes like when they wrote "Ribbon in the Sky" by Stevie Wonder? Stuff like that. Okay. Like, I love talking to artists about their creative process. Okay. And that's what got the ball rolling on the Curated Vibes, and it just turned into a pod where we're interviewing the artists, we're filming them actually performing. It's a big piece, and I hope it sheds light on a lot of the local talent in Sac that doesn't have a platform yet.
Right, man. That's crazy you say that, man, because I used to do music my damn self.
Okay.
And what you said hit home, because you run out of shit to talk about. You run out. I kid you not. You know what I mean? You make an album, and then after that is like, am I supposed to talk about the same thing I technically talked about? You know what I mean? So like, that creative juice, where does it come from?
Exactly.
And you mentioned
that's why it's difficult, man. Like, when you look at it, just in general with the music, and you look at the greats that have done it, and you can go in any genre. I don't care what it is, even a genre you really don't listen to.
Yeah,
there's just a level of excellence that you have to keep on maintaining to be at that status.
Just look at how many one-hit wonders is out there.
Right.
You know, it's you'll go down that top one-hit wonder list and be like, damn, that's the only song he made. and that was it.
Right. And it's the expectation and the standard. I think we spoiled as the consumer.
Yeah. Oh,
like a lot of times we was talking about it before, how we ranking artists and stuff like that, and who's overrated, who's overhyped and shit like that. Maybe some weeks ago. But when you sit back and listen, it's like, man, it's hard to put out a good project. And I have the same sentiment towards film.
Yeah.
I think it is extremely hard to make a movie, period.
Right.
To make a good movie is damn near impossible, because when you look at the numbers,
let alone a
just
sequel.
like in music, you look at how many great albums there are, but how many albums were ever just tried. That percentage is so small. Like you have to give it up to the creatives, and that's cool that you creating a platform where you allow creatives to speak on that.
You know, it's funny that you said that, because like I got drug over some coals recently, because someone got mad because I said that I don't feel like Chris Brown got a classic album.
Classic.
I was like, he drops great music. I loved him in person. Like that's the best performer I ever seen live.
So hold on, the whole running from wall to wall. That
Take
ain't
your
a
time
classic.
with that's a classic song.
Classic.
I said album.
Okay.
That's a good conversation to have.
Talk about it.
Let me look some up.
Take your time. Take your time.
Let me look some up.
The thing about it is,
I've never thought about
every
this.
album damn near got like 20-some songs on it. I have yet to make it all the way through a Chris Brown album, but I could tell you where I was at when 8701 came out. I could tell you where I was at when Confessions came out. You know, if you're trying to stack these two up to do a verses next to each other, yeah, you know, it's all about 20 songs. But like, if you want to say who's the better artist, like
hits,
you do have to. And we were talking
diamond.
about that. I think being elite or being at the top, as far as being an artist, I think one of the things we had in the criteria is you have to put out multiple classic projects,
multiples, literally.
And I think that was the argument. One of the arguments I have for Kendrick is because I feel like damn near everyone he's dropped.
We're not gonna start me on no Kendrick.
I know.
Okay? I'm a Kendrick fan. Kendrick can't do no wrong.
Right.
So you thought his last album was fire?
So I'm like I said, I'm a huge music fan. So it takes me a while to process to process an album. You know what I mean? Like before I even spoke on the Kendrick album, I think it was about a week or two later after I really, digested it and was like, this was dope. He spoke on so many issues that are taboo in the black family, in the minority communities. Like,
I'll agree.
My auntie is a man now.
Right, I'll agree.
What?
I said the man was lyrically genius in what he was talking about.
It's gonna be those rap heads who love or so how they're hating on Drake right now. Drake dropped a whole different album, and the only song they like on there is a song with him and 21 Savage.
Jimmy Cooks or something.
That's just hard.
It's just hard.
That's because your expectations going into it is like, oh, he about to drop an album top to bottom that's gonna sound like this song. He didn't give them that. You know what I mean? He probably in a different place in his life right now, but I guarantee you he got a hard drive probably full of that shit.
Would you say, Warren, we're conditioned to this type of music? Is that what you said when we were talking about it? We're conditioned to a specific type of music. We were conditioned for the Jimmy Cooks.
Yes, exactly.
We weren't conditioned for the
Drake album.
Yeah,
correct. I agree. I agree.
But the fucked up thing about that is I was 2 weeks ago old, and when I found out that a black man in Chicago invented house music. Blew my goddamn mind.
Today years old. Okay.
Literally, right? I promise you, look it up. A dude
3
in Chicago.
seconds ago.
Blew my mind. The dude on the south side of Chicago, a black dude, invented house music.
I fuck with house music though.
Crazy, right?
House party. I would think house party. Well, no, that was kind of more.
I'm sorry. I
That was
can't do
more-
it. I can't do the house music.
It's
Shout out to bruh.
but
I can't do the
levels
house
to
music.
it. You know what I mean?
There's levels.
You only gonna get a few fist pumps out of me.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So the Drake album is, I feel like, a cool amount of house that I can do. Like I can't do when you go to the club and it's just boom, boom. It doesn't even
like Vegas.
Yeah, that Vegas thing. I got 2 days max of me in Vegas right now. That's all I could do.
Same here. Me and Rob said the same thing recently.
My head be hurting, bro.
Man, how much longer you need? sleep.
Yeah, I can't.
You go to sleep and all you hear is dum.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
But that's interesting. You know, we talk. You know, we.
The start of it. Kick open the door.
That's the middle, bro. That's the second act.
That boy dropped that HBO special.
And then that starts to get a little bit faster.
Oh man, that
cadence gets higher on the climax.
Oh man.
But back to what you were saying, as far as the Kendrick album, I mentioned, you know, you thought the album was fire because, you know, even though I thought it was lyrical genius, because he did mention a bunch of different issues that people are actually going through today. When we're talking about coming up with that creative like mindset, creativeness, like he definitely displayed it. You know, his first album was about jumping in a pool of drink, right? That's the normal storm, you know, typical thing that people talk about, right?
If you listen to that song, that was such a conscious song.
It was.
It just, what he did was he took a concept of drinking and the fact that you know over there babysitting a drink and you ain't really putting in. But if you listen to the lyrics to that song, he was speaking way more.
Oh yeah,
it was way deeper. When you listen to Kendrick, he can put out a song that a bop, but man, he's gonna put his. I think he's just his intelligence and what he's really trying to talk about, even in the songs that you would probably play in your car. That's more considered more of a hit, and that's why I think he's so great. And I think he's done it at such a high level.
Look at his visuals too. Like the visual he did for that Heart Part 5 was
it's hard.
Come on, man. I was sitting there when I seen Nip's face, Cole's face,
face.
OJ Simpson.
Right.
What?
Right.
I almost lost my shit.
Genius. But once again, kind of the reference with the Drake album, it just didn't slap for me. It was conditioned a different way. You know what I mean?
Said the same shit. It didn't slap for me.
It just didn't slap for me. That's all. And you know, it took War Ready for me to be able to realize that we are conditioned to listen to a specific type of music. The beat, you know, the beats really kind of control the tempo of how you really feel or like the song. You know, so. To kind of recant on what I said on the Kendrick Lamar episode, Kendrick, the album's fire.
The album.
I hated on it then.
You've been listening to it.
It has been listened. I've been listening to it, adding a few more songs.
In the fucking shower.
Rich Spirit.
That's my shit.
That's my shit. Rich
Spirit
with that. Beat my bop for a while.
Rich Spirit is definitely the one that's been added. And then I even did the Silent Hill to push these niggas I don't even know why. Every time it come off, I'll be like,
you got a winner, Kendrick. You won him over.
Man.
But that's an interesting conversation you said earlier about Chris Brown, though. True. I never thought about that.
I just, you know, and I don't ever want nobody, you know, because if it does get back to Chris Brown that way, I don't ever want him to feel like I was hating on him, because like I feel like what he does takes so much fucking work.
It does.
Like I went to his concert at Golden One.
Same. Indigo. Yeah, that shit was fire.
That motherfucker was singing.
Shit was fire.
You know, like you could tell when someone's really singing or lip singing. That motherfucker was doing backflips, coming out singing a song. Like he put on a show that was like next level.
Yeah, it was.
You know
so I mean? With him not having a classic album to you, like where do you rank him as an artist?
Oh, top 5. I'm
Top
still
5?
not taking him down from there, because at the end of the day, each album got a certified hit.
Facts.
Like every album has a certified hit, and I mean, and even on this album, he has a song with Lil Wayne. He got Lil Wayne to rap like old Lil Wayne.
Oh yeah. That was
sitting there like
I haven't heard the new album yet.
It starts with a P,
Possession, something like that.
It goes crazy.
Yeah, no, that shit's hard.
Wayne got on there and showed his motherfucking ass. And when was the last time we could say that?
But
It's
his
been a
features
while.
he always puts out though.
He has been on the features.
His features always puts out. He still got the heat.
Crazy.
And I've said this for the longest time. Even I'm not the biggest Drake fan, but I acknowledge his run and how much what music he's put out there. I think Wayne is the only one that could go toe to toe with him on the verses. On the verses.
See, but that's the thing that you know it's the format. The format is 20 songs.
Right.
Chris Brown got 20 that could go with Drake. Usher got 20 that could go with Drake.
I agree.
Wayne got 20 that could go with Jay-Z, but nobody want to have that conversation.
I agree.
So it's like
I agree.
The Carters.
the
Goddess.
500 Degrees.
Right.
Stop playing with me. That was the first album I ever bought.
You know, it's crazy because I've been listening to Lil Wayne just ever since I was in middle school. So when he dropped The Block Is Hot, like that was like to me, especially as in middle school, like listening to that, it was like to me, I was like, bro, this dude is like my age. That's what you have to think about.
Yes.
I'm 35 years old, so we close to the same age. So it's like seeing and listening to somebody that's close to my age doing what he's doing, I was like, bro, I could really relate to him back then.
Walking and then saying bling bling,
bro. But that's my point. You see his progression from there, and so that jump from Lights Out to 500 Degrees was big. But that's why I have the Carter 1 so high, because that jump from 500 Degrees to the Carter 1 is so big. Like
but then that's jump to Carter 2.
But I don't think that jump is as big. It's not as big. It's great. That Carter 2 is hard. It's
Carter 2.
That Carter 2?
But I don't think the jump from Carter 1 was as from 500 to Carter 1.
Yeah. Big
I don't even think people are like, who the fuck is this? Like, who is this?
But that's the difference from going from being 15 to 17 about to be
right. He grew into it. He grew up in the music industry.
To backpedal on the Drake thing. That's the same thing. Drake is not who he was 2 or 3 years ago.
True.
When the last album came out. This might just be where he at in life right now. And he's on the wave, baby.
Yeah.
He's on the wave.
He's rocking something, man.
But Drake was better 2 or 3 years ago, though, if you ask me, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm like Rob, I'm not too high on Drake. So I feel like his older material was much better than me.
So I am a Drake fan as well, and his earlier work was dope as hell.
Yes.
But did you just not hear him on Future's joint?
With
Tim's?
Oh, I need to hear Tim.
Oh, on Future's album?
Yes.
Yeah.
Drake,
are you talking about the Wait For It?
Yes. Drake can literally at any point in time turn it on.
I feel like he had. I think you and me and Warren kind of share the same thing on this, because I don't feel like it's a situation where he's lost it.
Yeah.
I feel like we know he has the capability, but he only does it so few and far between. So like, I'll be honest, like the last, not this album, the album before,
the Pregnant album.
Yeah. Lover Boy. That one. So 7 a.m. Oh, bro,
nigga,
bro, you talk about some gas.
That
I was
shit
just
is
listening
hard.
to it again, and there was a point when he was rhyming association. So that last part of that word, I've never seen no one be able to put that together like that. I'm like, bro, why aren't you doing this all the time? But I think it's to your point. He's taken to where he wants to go.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes when we listen to music, I think we kind of got to consider that.
I mean, people forget Wayne put out a fucking rock album, and I couldn't tell you 2 songs.
He did.
He did.
Prom Queen. That's it.
No, he had the song on there. He had the song on there with Eminem that was pretty dope. What was it? Drop the World.
Was that on that album?
Yeah, that was on there.
Those were 2 singles. Those were
the
singles.
That's it. That's all we got from that.
Yeah. I think that Drake is a better rapper now than he is better singer. I think this whole album was meant for him to really
Drake's
sing.
never been a good singer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought he came out as a singer though.
No, he came out like this. No, he came out as a rapper. No, he came out as a rapper.
I'm just saying.
Let's be honest. Like I said, I'm a music fan, so you can't put Drake vocally next to a Chris Brown or a Usher.
No,
you're never gonna see Drake do one of these Usher challenges that Eric Bellinger did on that Tiny Desk.
Right,
like, that's never gonna happen. Drake stays in his fucking lane, and that's why we love him so much. He stays in his lane. He ain't never been the super tough guy. He always talked about getting women.
A couple times beefs, he got there.
A couple of beefs he decided to be big brother. But you know what I mean? For the most part, like, I felt like Drake been on the same shit like all of us regular dudes been on. Like,
for the most part,
just having a good time and living life.
We talked about earlier this versus thing, and honestly, it's been interesting to me. I know we're almost out of here. We already kind of over whatever, but this versus thing, I go back to my favorite one that actually got me really watching versus was my boy Jadakiss, and who did he go up against? Jadakiss and
it was the Lox. It was the Lox and Diplomat.
Yeah, you go.
Dipset.
Yeah. So that one is really one that put me on. The one before that, I heard the Bay Area one everybody loved.
E40 and Too Short. That was hard. The best one was Gucci Mane and Young Jeezy. I don't care what anybody says.
No,
the
that's
energy.
not
no, you're fat.
No, the energy that I felt, because we all felt something was about to go down. I could feel it. Like I could feel it through the speakers, bro. I was like, man, somebody about to get hurt. Somebody about to get hurt on this.
If Jeezy, if he acted any other way than what he did, it would have went there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right.
Jeezy was so reserved and just like
he knew what he was getting.
Yeah,
into.
you know what I mean.
But you know what's funny is like this last verse just happened.
Oh my
I
God,
loved it.
You loved it.
Let me tell you.
You talking
why.
about the Mario Rage?
Yes, let me tell you why
Icebox.
because it shows who is a real singer. Mario can really sing.
He can really.
But he
was
never
holding
had
down.
that machine behind him that B2K had.
No, versus you do have to perform.
That's a hot mic, baby.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That boy said, "Hey, Omar, you better stop dancing and get to singing." You know what I mean? Like, and I just love the fact that it's really putting a highlight on people who could really master
Sing.
their craft. And
Right.
Mario fucked him up the whole goddamn.
The whole fucking
That's an interesting
show.
take on that because I didn't watch it, and the only reason I didn't watch it because everybody was shitting on it.
Oh, I was.
It was horrible.
Yeah. Top
Oh
to
my God.
Ray J got cooked by
You know.
Sammy and Pleasure Peter.
Who was the dude that was trying to do falsetto in this shit? What was his name?
Bobby Valentino.
Oh my God.
But see, that goes to show you like these artists that they were coming up at the same time we were coming up, and Bobby Valentino had hits. But if you ever heard him live, that motherfucker can't sing to save his soul.
Yeah, and he don't be paying these hookers.
Yeah.
I'm confused about Ray J. Ray
That dude be
J.
trying to skip out, bro.
He was there for a hot second.
He has a catalog or what? He got music.
He
No,
got
Ray
that.
J really got a
Ray
catalog.
J?
You would be surprised.
If I had one way.
That's his
He
one
got,
song.
No, he got more than that.
Yeah.
But
You know
that's the
what
one everybody gonna know.
Yeah.
But my question about the verses is, who do you want to see next go up against each other? Because you guys said some great names.
I'ma tell
I
you.
heard the Lil Wayne Jay-Z. I think that'll be fire.
So-
for the title of Mr. Carter, you know.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God,
God.
Jay-Z would never do that.
For the sake of entertainment, I would love to see Cole versus Kendrick.
Ooh.
I would love to see Nas versus Jay-Z. I
Ooh.
would love to see Jay-Z versus Lil Wayne. Them
Man.
my dream.
Those
I
are
feel
some
like
solid ones.
they'll never do. I feel like their names are
It's
just
never
too
gonna
big for
happen.
verses. Yeah.
I just think I think Wayne could do it. I think
yeah.
Wayne at this point, I think he could because I think the difference when they talk about where you're too big for verses, it's not that your legacy is decreased or anything.
Yeah.
What it is you're not relevant in putting out new projects consistently. So when you haven't been doing that, then that opens that lane up that, hey, we ain't gonna look crazy at you if you in a verses. I think that's how I look at it. So if I was to see Wayne in a verses, I wouldn't look at it like, oh, he reaching. I would just be like, he ain't really putting out projects right now. He probably
That's a good
thinking
time
about
to
a
do it.
different wave. He's not thinking about progressively putting out albums. Drake is still putting out albums. Cole, Kendrick, like these guys are still so
They're
relevant
still
in the game.
carrying the game. Man.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think they could put in a verses
Speaking
right
of
now.
game verse 50.
Ooh, see now
that's a good one.
That's a beef.
That's a
That's
good
a
one.
beef that you
I'm
can see
pulling
play
up.
out.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And we
Yeah.
can't do it in LA, baby. Let me tell you right,
Right.
now.
Yeah, no. We're gonna have to have a neutral
We ain't
site.
gonna do that in
Right.
Scottsdale.
I'd love to see. I would love to see Rick Ross on there. He is so underrated.
did
Rick
it,
Ross
though.
with who though?
Who did he do it
He
with?
did it with 2 Chainz, I believe.
Oh, I didn't.
Rose?
That's right.
Rose and 2 Chainz.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, that was during the pandemic. So
Okay.
like, it was one of those. Like people forget that even Ludacris and Nelly did one.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Like those are pandemic verses.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
With
yeah.
nobody there, so
So my thing is Versus taking over? Is that the new Suede or is that the new what's that other guy Tim? That's in UK. You know where cats come on and just start
Westfall.
freestyling
Yeah.
and.
Well, I
know.
think what's going on with Versus is that they came up with a. You know, people forget though that the first people who did that was Swiss Beats and I think it was just
Timbaland.
Blaze. Well,
Timbaland.
Timbaland.
They was basically just doing their beats.
Yeah, at the house with like had a party
because it was
you know.
during the pandemic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. Like, and it's grown from there. But you know, it's just I think it's a beautiful way for people, especially the people that they're bringing up. I mean, think about it. They brought up the Isley brothers. They could use a check. Fat Joe said they gave him the option of who he wanted to pick, and he chose Ja Rule because he knew Ja Rule needed that. You know what I mean? So that's it's a financial obligation that they're giving these people, and I think it's just dope as hell.
Putting them on.
I thought it was Tory and French Montana that started it. I remember when Lil Wayne was doing the whole, not Lil Wayne, Tory Lanez was doing the whole quarantine radio on IG. Man, it was going crazy.
Oh yeah,
it was,
bitches
locked
in
that
my house. This boy,
that quarantine radio.
Yeah, that wasn't no
on.
verses though.
That definitely wasn't no verses, brother.
No, but he had French Montana on at one time, and they were going back and forth. He was like, I'll play my catalog, you play yours. And everybody tuned in for that
I think
shit.
they was just messing around. I think what he's taught, it was more organized. It was Timbaland.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, they were all talking shit to each other about who got the best beats. And then Swiss Beats was like, "Fuck it, let's do it for some money, get a crowd of people." And they went hit for hit, and then Swiss Beats started bringing out songs that he can't release with certain artists, and you know what I mean. He ended up winning that, but. You know, it's definitely a dope ass.
Hell yeah.
For the music vibe thing, man.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you, man, once again for being on this show.
Thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure.
Man, just, we're able to talk about what's kind of happening and everything unfolding. Go ahead and let the people know where they can find you on IG, let them know the YouTube channel.
My name has been Fly Guy Banks 11 for years, and it's not going to change. If you want to catch me on the weekends, of course, I'm managing London, Sacramento. I'm a part of Curated Vibes, Curated Vibes 916. We curate vibes on IG. Check us out and, make sure to follow my boys right here, right here on the pod.
Man, for sure, man. Facts, man. We'll definitely make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe. Don't forget to go ahead over to his and like and subscribe. Give him a follow as well. And, you guys got a little party happening tomorrow, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. So tonight's Thursday for everybody. We're live though. I forgot. So
yeah.
We always put our shit out a week or two later. So, But yeah, Friday night. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time down at the club. It's our homegirl Brandy's birthday.
Brandy, shout out.
Y'all interviewed her.
Shout out to Brandy. She was on the show.
Yeah. We're gonna make sure she get carried out tomorrow. So if you're watching this, just know. It's going to be a hell of a party tomorrow.
It's a movie, y'all.
Yeah, that's what's up. For sure, man. Well, thank you guys so very much once again for tuning in to this very special episode of About the Night, episode 30 with our guy, Fly Guy Banks 11. Yeah, I dig. Mr. Ryan Banks in the motherfucking building. Once again, we got our main guy over there on the ones and twos, switching it in and out for us. Mr. War Ready with a 3. Warren, that I dig. And don't forget about the main star on the show, man. Our guy Suede _ Coach, man. We got to pump all of our heads up. You know what I mean?
Don't forget Tony.
Man, don't forget my guy Tony, man. He ain't with us today, but he was chiming in on the show, letting us know what we could do to make some changes. We appreciate it as he's at home sick. Mr.
Get
Tony
well soon.
SJR official, and then King of Sacramento, baby. You already know how he is, man. Thank you so very much for tuning in to another special episode of About the Night. Thank you.
Get some outro music. Hey, I want